But yes, we have to react to the conclusion of Group F, which happened to be the second set of games, actually. We kind of flipped it around. Normally, we'll be talking about the first set of games, then we'll talk about the second set. But we have to start off with the first set of games, in my opinion, because, wow, what a set of games did we get from Georgia pulling off a massive upset. I think based on FIFA rankings, the biggest upset in Euro Championship history. I think Portugal was ranked 6, I believe, 6, while Georgia was 74th or 70 something in the 70s. Massive upset in that manner. When you look at the tournament that they've had in general, Georgia, they've had a pretty solid tournament in the fact that the first game against Turkey, they went back and forth with them, and eventually they got outclassed in certain areas just based on the quality that Turkey has. But they proved that they're not some sort of team that doesn't deserve to be here. And if, in my opinion, I didn't have the most respect for them entering this tournament when you looked at the fact that, number one, in the Euro qualifier group, they were really bad. They finished second to last in the group, in their European qualifier group, which is not good enough. And they got here through the Nations League playoffs, which is not the most impressive thing in the world. They finished below Scotland by 9 points in the group, a Scotland team that ended up getting eliminated. They even finished below Norway in their Euro qualifiers group, a Norway team that wasn't even good enough to reach these European Championship, which is hard to believe when they have Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But yeah, so I entered this, before the tournament, I really did not give them any sort of shot to really have any sort of chance to move on, even with the third place teams moving on, just because of that in general. And they have proved me wrong. They really have. I think now Kvaratskhelia, he's a very good player. I always knew his quality. But Mikotodis, I always can't pronounce his name. He has been brilliant this tournament. And it's a player that I did not know much about before. He was born in France, actually. Born and raised in France, in the place for Metz in the second division. They're number 10. And he's a very, very good player, has some technical ability. He's played at a big club in Ajax before, so, it's known that he has quality. And he was really, really good. I thought the penalty he took today was classy in the fact that, wow, it was right in the corner. It had pace. Diego Costa is a big goalkeeper, and he couldn't get to it. I thought for Georgia, despite the fact that they went up against a Portugal team that played a Portugal B team, I thought Georgia would have trouble in this game. But once they were able to get that early goal, I think it made things so much easier for them. I thought that was the crucial part of this game. Getting the early goal, being able to play the entire game with a lead, was the perfect start for them. Absolute perfect start for them, because they were not going to be a team that could go back and forth with Portugal. They just don't have the quality for that. But the fact that they were able to get that goal early, I'm not saying that they parked the bus or anything of that sort. But they were able to, get the goal early and play more of a lower block. When you look at it, Portugal had 73% of the possession. They had 22 shots compared to the 7. It was clear Georgia was being tight and playing on the break and taking advantage of moments in transition and taking advantage of moments. And it just opened up perfectly. Now Georgia, respect to them. This run that they've been on to reach the knockout stage. This is the first time they've ever been at a major international tournament. Is a big deal for them. But there was, there's an element of luck in it too when you get to face a Portuguese team in third group stages that has wrapped up everything. They're playing basically their entire B team besides Ronaldo, which is another conversation that we're gonna have in the segment. Besides Ronaldo, and yeah, so it's also a little bit of luck there too, but you got to make your own luck too. And I thought Georgia were pretty good in the first two games, so I don't think it's any sort of farce that they're in these knockout stages. Now they get to take on Spain, and that's probably the last team that they wanted to take on. But getting here it's a remarkable achievement for them, and it's something that you can't. They'll never forget. They'll never forget these players. They'll go down in Georgian football history, and they're already making history just being at the tournament in general. But to be able to get to the knockout stages in their first ever appearance at a major international tournament, I mean that's literally the story of dreams. So hats off to them. As far as Portugal, interesting in the fact that Portugal, they played this entire B team, but Ronaldo was still in that starting lineup. For me, that's very interesting because, out of all the players, you would imagine Ronaldo is the one that needs most the rest. Him being a 39-year-old, coming off of a full season and playing in the Saudi league, a Saudi league it's a league that they play in extreme heat. It's a very warm country, so rest could be vital in this sort of situation. You not only have the knockout stages wrapped up, but you've already even won the group. So there's really no incentive to play him here besides the fact that he wants to get on the score sheet. Maybe it's clear that this was his decision that he wants to play. I don't think Roberto Martinez. It was Roberto Martinez's decision. I think it was his decision for sure, and he. And even you could tell he didn't even want to be substituted. He threw a mini temper tantrum when he got substituted too. So that's not the best look for Ronaldo. I don't understand why he wanted to play, but he didn't end up getting an injury, which was good. Very good for Portugal. He did pick up a yellow card, which could get tricky. Because one more yellow card potentially in the round of 16 could get him a suspension, but I think he's smarter than that. And there's not much to say about this loss for Portugal. This is a lot of their B team. I think for Roberto Martinez, he really gets to see out of these fringe players, which players can he trust in the knockout stages. João Felix had a great opportunity to prove to Roberto Martinez that he could be an option, and I don't think he did that. I don't think he did enough throughout the duration of this game. So I think for Roberto Martinez, it's just a good way to see which players that are on the fringe could be an option for them, as depth pieces needed, because you need, your players on the bench. You need the squad depth in these knockout stages, going if you're down 1-0 with 20, 30 minutes to go. He needs a good idea of what players can he trust to put in that situation. So in terms of that, I thought that was good for him. Now in the other game was very interesting. Turkey and Czechia. Very interesting game, very kind of old school, aggressive, physical game. You saw the referee. By the way, the referee lost complete control of the game very early on. Now, Czechia did get a red card early in the game, which was a horrible situation for them to find themselves in as they're chasing a win. And, that ended up costing them heavy in the end. And I have to be honest, that was a second yellow. You can't make that stamp, that play. He was late arriving to that ball. He stamps onto that Turkish player. There's no arguing there. That is a red card. But there is a controversial decision that we'll discuss a little bit later on. But as far as the game, once that red card happened, it was just, it was just really almost an impossible situation that Czech found themselves in, because they were not only did they have play with 10 men, but they're also chasing the lead. But I thought there were, I thought the players rose up though, and they were able to make it a better game than what I thought it would have been when that red card happened. In terms of duration of the game, there was a few chances that they created. I thought they were very lively in transition. They got outpossessed 70-30 or 69-31, but they still were able to get more shots on target. They did test Gunik as well. And they suffered a lot in this game. After Çalhanoğlu was able to get that goal, Stanik, the Czechia goalkeeper, it was a shoulder. It looked like a potential dislocated shoulder. He had to come off. There was a lot that went against Czechia's way in this game, and they were able to keep it tight. And even after Turkey scored, which was a rocket of a goal by Çalhanoğlu, and that's what you need, by the way, in these sort of situations, your big time players to show up, and he showed up with that goal. Amazing goal, just absolutely blasted it right. No chance for the Czechian goalkeeper there. An amazing goal, but they were able to respond after that goal and end up getting the equalizer. And they showed spirit. They showed dedication, they showed a heart, they showed their fight for their country, but the battle became too much playing against 10 men, and Turkey were able to seal it off right at the end and win the game, which actually, made sure that they finished second, and, put them in the better side of the bracket. But I'll say this regarding this Czechia-Turkey game. I thought Turkey were very lucky in the fact that I think it was around the 81st, 82nd minute. I forgot who the striker was from Czechia that came on. I believe it was, I have no idea. But there was the Czechian striker. He gets in behind, and he gets whistled for a foul. That was never a foul. In fact, you could argue it was a potential handball from the Turkish defender. He was able to get that past that Turkish defender, and minimal contact on Demirel sent Demirel to the ground. But there was no foul there. Then the Czechian player was able to score, but the referee blew the whistle beforehand and didn't even allow VAR to come in and be a potential chance to review it. Whistled it before that, which was very shocking. It was overall a horribly officiated game. He was so card happy, and that's a big time moment, because if he doesn't call that a foul, and at least, or even if you think it's a foul in that situation you find yourself in, if there's a hesitation of doubt, let the play finish real quick. Then you can call the foul at the end. And then VAR will come in and change it, and VAR can change it because you didn't blow the whistle before the goal. Now you blow the whistle before the goal, you don't have you take away VAR an opportunity to save yourself. But yeah, overall the referee was horribly officiated the game, so card happy, and lost complete control, lost complete respect from the players. The players, they completely disrespected him. Even towards the end of the game, whenever the things were going on in the end, the referee was out there throwing cards left and right. I never seen a referee lose control the way that he did, and it's really a bad look in this sort of stage for that to happen. But yeah, Turkey find themselves through, despite, in my opinion, not really been as impressive as I expected for them to be entering this tournament. But that's kind of been the case for them at these last couple of European Championships.